A documentary about the secret history of South Africa and the end of apartheid tells the story of a mysterious Frenchman known as Monsieur Jacques, his involvement in Cold War diplomacy in Africa, the signing of the 1988 Brazzaville Protocol, and the negotiations to release Nelson Mandela. VOA's Carolyn has more.
So if you wanted to go from...
The film, Plot for Peace, tells the story of how French businessman Jean-Yves Olivier parlayed his contacts with African political leaders and became a secret envoy to France, practicing diplomacy of influence to facilitate peace and end apartheid.
The country, Angola. Its government, the Marxist regime of President Eduardo dos Santos, who is supported by the Soviet Union and 32,000 Cuban boots on the ground. Their enemy, Jonas Savimbi and his rebel movement UNITA, backed by South Africa and the United States. The apartheid regime is engaged in its forward defense in Angola and the north of Namibia, the neighboring territory South Africa occupies. America is fighting communist expansionism in southern Africa. Its support, rebel leader Savimbi says, tips the balance of power in his favor.
1985, we did not have the support of the Americans. Now we have that support.
The decision was taken to aid Savimbi covert. So at one point, a famous American reporter caught Reagan in one of these stakeouts by the White House and said, "Mr. President, what about Savimbi? Why don't you aid Savimbi?" And the president responded, "We are, but we're doing it covertly." He says.
Traveling between Africa's warring countries, Olivier negotiated a complicated prisoner release.
8 parties, 3 revolutionary movements, 6 countries, among them Angola, France, South Africa, including Bantustan. This operation was extremely complicated and costly. It came mostly out of my own pocket. There were no bilateral agreements, only one overall between all parties. I went from the apartheid state to the Marxist-Leninist countries or rebel movements. I had to be able to travel from one place to another without being accused by my host of being ideologically linked to the one I visited before. I zigzagged on a battlefield so as to initiate my negotiation of Wynand Dutoit's release. It was 7 months of constant back and forth. For 7 months, I had to visit the prisoners, organize their moves, know how they would be fed, know how they'd be dressed, how long they would have to wait, which type of plane they would take, which type of flyover flights we had to get. I was on my own.
By 1986, he brokered the first meeting for the 1988 Brazzaville Protocol, which resulted in the withdrawal of Cuban troops from Angola and Namibia's independence from South Africa. Olivier made the film to teach the next generation.
It's not going to happen overnight. You know, I always say that there is a common thing between Luther King and Mandela. Both have a dream. They both have a dream. But did they go from planet Earth with this dream being accomplished? No. So there is also the message that we should continue to achieve those dreams.
Once the apartheid regime made peace with its Marxist neighbors, it was in a position to negotiate for Mandela's release. Carolyn, VOA News.